Okay, now what? Now here, uh, let's write MapReduce. Okay, let's do it very fast because we already done it, but let's see how we can do it fastly over here. So public static void main, we need to create a job. Now it will be it will try to find it out in okay, so job MapReduce. So job is equal to new job. So what it says is unhandled exception type construction job is deprecated, not a problem, but it just so since it is saying some cross error, it says unhandled exceptions type IO exception. So just uh, say add say add throws declaration. So this declaration will automatically come IO exception. Okay, it means that whenever we are going to create the jobs object, basically it can give some runtime IO exception error that you need to handle. So you need to just say that it throws IO exception. Which one? Because we are going to build this particular jobs object over here inside this main method. So we need to catch this exception whenever it happens. So this actually throws IO exception. Now once that is done, you can say add the path. So first of all, whenever these things happen, you will see that if args dot length not equal to 2, it means that the parameters, I mean we need to pass two parameters to this. One is input directory and another is output directory. So what it should show is sys the parameters are not 2. It means it should have at least exactly two parameters. Okay, and once it is done, you should have system.exit -1. So it will just exit out of it. I mean it won't do anything else. Okay, so if it finds that we have not passed exactly two parameters, that is input directory and output directory, it should not do anything. Okay, and if it passed these checks, then it will come over here and it will create a job object, and then we need to define, let's say, file input format. It should come from MapReduce, this library, and it has one static method called add input path. So job that we are actually passing, and path is a new path variable. So you just need to create path. This path should come from this URI, and you just need to pass this args 0 over here. So this is our first path that so this is our input directory, right? Now similarly we need to define file output format. So that is our output directory, file output format. It should come from this particular package, and whenever I am as and when I am importing, you will see that these are all imported packages being added to our now set output path. So we should have path output directory. It should come from job and output directory, again it is a new path. Args, and this is our first element of this is our output directory. Now we are going to pass our HDFS input and HDFS output directory over here. Okay, so when this arguments will read it out, so it will say that okay, I exited not two parameters, then it will end up, else it will come here and set that path. Now we can do rest of the things. So say job dot set jar by class. So which is our main class is this one, word count dot job. So just say dot class. Then our job will have set job name. So we can have word count as our job name, right? Then job dot set map output click map set map output key class and value class. So this is important thing. So since this is simple word count, what should be our input map input and map input key value pair and map output key value pair. So the map output key value pair, it should be matching over here, because when we are writing our mapper and whatever it is generating as a key value output pair, that should exactly match whatever you are giving here in our job configuration. So since we are reading long writable, okay, converting into text and generating text and its corresponding count. So the key class would be text class, okay, and this text needs to be, you know, imported from org Apache Hadoop IO. Then we do have job dot. Now this is how, I mean, you should start thinking in MapReduce, right? Key class, so it should be int writable and writable. So just do class, and it would be automatically imported. If you isn't right, see this keeps going increasing. This package is all automatically come, because all the dependencies there we already have imported in our moment dependency. Okay, now what else? We require job dot set reducer, number of reduced tasks, set number of reduced tasks. So let's say having 2 files to be generated. Then we do have saw job set let's see what else we are missing. Job name, job set, output class, map. Okay, so mapper class. So we are going to write a count word. We are going to write it now. It is word count mapper dot class. Then we need to provide job dot set reducer class. So it should be word count reducer dot class. Okay, so we need to write these two classes. So once those will be written, this error will be out. Okay, and I think that's it. And now what should we do is job dot wait for completion, and have one wait for completion. Let me just check it out. Wait for job. Okay, system.exit. Okay, so job wait for completion. So system.exit. So we just need to wait for its completion. If it is true, then exit. So what we can do is just like what we have done over here, system dot exit, and its status depends on job dot wait for completion. And if it is true, so if it is true, so 0/1. Okay, what does it mean? So if it is true, so it will keep check whether the job completion is true or not. Okay, if it is not true, then keep running. Else, if it is true, it means that job is completed. It means one. So this is what is called ternary operator. Okay, in Java, ternary operator will. So you just need to put a question mark on your output and see if it is 0 or 1 or whatever. So you depending on this, you can do either this or this. Okay. So this is how I think this is a simple. Okay, so this is what actually this is how we will write everything quickly. Now we need to log everything. So we need a log that should come from our Apache commons.log. So create a variable called private final log type log is equal to log dot log factory get log for this class. Okay, so what we are doing here is we are actually trying to print the logs from this console. So uh, print the logs on console. What we are doing, so this is a log type, so this is log factory dot get log. So what it will do is basically it will whatever this particular class will do whenever it is when an object is created and whenever it is getting executed, whatever it will do, all the logs will be collected by this particular log factory, and we can use. So this now one more thing what we can do here is, like, once the system out, we can print system int. Before doing the things, we can also say log dot, and cannot make a static reference to non-static. Okay, so private is static, make it static. Log dot, and you can say fatal. So this one is the fatal, and you can write certain string on it. So say fatal and pass one string that this is fatal error, and exactly if two parameters are needed. That's it. So now this logging level, right? So if you just do log, so it has fatal is the topmost one. So it can do log.debug, log.warn, log dot. Okay, so you can see that how many things are provided over here. So debug is one, the smallest message that does not affect anything. I mean, it is just like for logging purpose. Then you do have error, fatal, then you do have info, then you do have warning. Okay, this is the warning sign. Okay, so just like that, you can, like, since it is fatal error, we need to print it like this is a fatal error, and your job cannot go ahead. Now that is done. Now we just need to create word count mapper. Okay, so let's now do that. In this one, word count, just create a new class called word count.mapper. Say finish. What it should do is extends mapper. Okay, now where this mapper should come from, Hadoop Map Reduce. That is correct. Now our our input one is long writable, long writable. Our output, so input key value pair, input key is long writable, input value is text, just import it, and output value would be text, and output key would be text, and output value would be your int writable, because it will give us a count, int writable. Okay, now there are three methods in every mapper and reducer basically. One is called setup, another is called map inside map, and third one is called cleanup. Okay, so just have them up, though we need not to do anything with setup and cleanup in this case. It is like by default whatever it is, it will do. So setup is basically before starting your map task or reduce task, if you want to do certain things, you can just put in them in the setup. That is only one time activity, and after your mapper and reducer finishes or method finishes, if you want to do certain things, then you need to put them in cleanup. Okay, so these are all the things that are available in mapper. Okay, so since they are all override, it means they are coming from our super class. What is our super class? Is mapper for this word count mapper. Okay, now we just need to change this map. Okay, so long writable key we are passing, text values we are passing. Now we need to play with this text and generate our own key value pair out of it. So what I'm doing here is currently it is saying that member long writable, and this is this type of context. So there is also one context. Okay, can we open this? So you just do right click and open the mapper, so it will tell you the mapper thing. So there is public abstract class context. So abstract class context, so this context is an object basically. Since it is a class, we can refer it to be an object. Within that, what we can do is implement map context and key value in. So it is implementing map context, and here we can put a lot of things. So see, if you open the code of mapper, you will see that there is one setup method, there is one map method, and there is one is and finally cleanup method, and there is one more run method that you can use sometimes. So expert users can override this method for more complete control over the execution of the mapper. Okay, but since we are not expert users basically, so just leave it. But this is also one method. So whenever somebody asks that how many, I mean, this is not interview question basically, but this is complete write-up of your mapper. Okay, so if you go through it, you will definitely get your all the things boosted, all the knowledge around it. But since this kind of coding, pure Java coding for doing map reduce is not, uh, you know, it's kind of obsolete nowadays, because it is time consuming and it's very lengthy process. But still, I mean, if you try to, get more insight, if you have some free time, you can go through all this text. What point trying to tell you? So this context, this is a public abstract class. So Anand is there. Anand, are you able to listen to me? Yeah, can you, so Anand, so this is the mapper class, right? Uh, there is something called public abstract class, right? So abstract, if it is abstract, we cannot make its object, right? That's what is the concept.
Yeah.
Okay, so, but this is a class within this class, right? So this is one of the way where you see that one class, though it is abstract, is defined in one more in another class, and it implements map dot context. So let me open the declaration of it. So this is map context. So what it does is get the input split for this map. Okay, so public input is split. Now here, like, you will study through the Java way all the whole map reduce over here. Okay, you can just drill down to whatever classes you want and try to see the connection in between those, and then how they together work in order to give you the things. So this is the interface, public interface called map, and it actually, this is annotation interface audience.public. But I'm not sure how it works. But basically this is interface, and this is generics. It means that it will, you know, then again it extends. So one more interface is task input output context, something like that. So don't go that much deeper. But what we are trying to say here is this is a particular class, abstract class, and we can use it just to put our key value pairs inside that. So that's what they are actually trying to do. So they have created context variable of type this context. Okay, so since uh, this context is a abstract class. No, it is you are not audible. I think you are on mute, or maybe your my mic not be working. And I thought you are not listening to me because it is pure Java, so you might not be we are talking. Okay, so now where is our map? So this is our map, right? So what I'm going to do is just remove this one because mapper is already done. So just say context of type context. Now just remove this super map because we are going to implement our own map method over here. What I'm doing here is just reading it. So key and value. So long writable key is being passed. So every record will be read by that particular file. So by default, if you do not specify any input format, you can have job dot input format file. Okay, file input format. Okay, leave it away. We are not needed over here because we haven't defined that which particular input format we are going to use. So by default, it would be a text input format. Okay, so that also you can define either whether it is a text input format or key value text input format or sequence file input format kind of thing. Okay, now in the mapper what we should do is uh, text value. So we need to write text and output. Okay, so we first need to read the value. So do one thing. So define on a string type, let's say word is equal to whatever value you are getting, value dot to string. Okay, now let's say line, and define one string array and have them like words and split line with spaces in between, right? And this is how we have just splitted every word, just like hi, how are you. So first word is the hi, second word is how, and like that. Then create one int called no, leave it. So now what we need to do is so this is string, create a for loop for I is equal to 0, and I'll so whenever you just let's say for and control K, control space, it will automatically pick this is the array, and that's why it has. So till whatever the length of your array, it will run till that point, and what you just need to do is write your context object. So there is a write method in that context object. Okay, write key and value. So what would be our key? So key would be your word. So it should be words dot no sorry words with whatever I is it. Again, value would be 1. What it says, the method text, so we just need to okay, so we just need to create one text object and pass this argument to it, and this will be fine now. and this should be int writable, new int writable, because this is what actually should be our output key value pair. Okay, so now we are working, we are getting the line, we are converted into simple words. Now for every word we are generating that word and its corresponding count as 1. Okay, and later on in the reducer we will just group them by words and iterate over the list of values and generate the count. Okay, so the mapper is ended. Now create reducer. Okay, now again extends a reducer. Okay, so the input key value pair to reducer would be, it will come text int writable. Okay, this is what we are getting, and we are generating same text and int writable, because for every word what is the count, right? Int writable. Now import this text. Done. Now again we do have setup cleanup over here, then a reduce method, then we have cleanup. Again reduce method, what we are having is text and iterable of interval, so we will say text of key, iterable of values, and this context, just remove this one, context type context, and just remove this one because we are going to put our logic over here. Now what we are going to do is, for now we need to iterate over here, right? So for every key we need to just iterate over the list of values and put it into the context, right? So create int sum of number, you can say, is equal to let's start with 0, and for int writable a values, write, keep adding it. Okay, so for till the values are not finished, keep adding it to the sum of number equals to sum of number plus values, oh sorry, a dot get. What it will do is, so this is what is called extendable for loop. Okay, so this is, I'm not sure, extended for loop. So we need not to give the situation, or it will be automatically handled. So what we define is, we define a variable of type int writable, and it will iterate over the list of these values. Okay, so since these values are containing all the int writable values, this values variable basically contains all the int writable values, so we need a type of over here. So whatever type that is containing in this particular variable, we need that type of variable to iterate over that list of values, right? Now sum of number, this is int, and this is also int, so 0 plus 0, and let's say the a dot get, so first time it will generate 1, so 1 will be stored, then second time it will generate 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, whatever. And once the sum is over, what we can do is, we can write that into context dot write. Now what would be the key? Key would be key, because this is what we are going to write, and value would be your sum of number, but this would be writable, right? So sorry, this would be int writable, so generate an int writable value and put this sum of number over there. That's it. So this is how for every number we are generating the count, and it is going to be written into where part.r00 file in output directory. Now why it still gives error? Just save it. So what it says, okay, it throws some unhandled exception, so just add throws declaration. So now our main method could throw class not found exception or interrupted exception kind of thing. Okay, now we have defined our first map reduce. Though it is simple, we already done it, but this is how we can write everything by hand, try to practice it. So now before running it we require something. So first thing is in source we need to create one folder called resources. Okay, and in that resources we need to create a file called uh, log4j.properties. log4j.properties. Okay, just finish it and then come here and copy all this thing. This is required in order to generate the logs properly for our, so we have created that our info should, whatever information messages will be generated should be printed directly on our console whenever this job runs. Okay, now log4j properties is basically the logging properties of your Java application. Okay, basically whenever you write any code, okay, so that code whenever it runs in JVM, so it generates some logs. Okay, so where you want that logs to be placed is definitely defined in this log4j properties. Also, what kind of message severity you want to generate. So currently I said that our whatever information will be generated only show those messages, okay, or up more than that. So the level of messaging is like that. So the at the bottom you will have debug is the least severe message, then info is more severity, let's say severity 10, then we do have warning, then we do have error, then we do have fatal kind of thing. Again one more, so there are 6 levels of logging that you can you want for your any application. So what we are saying that whatever information message is generated, just only them, because if you put it in debug, there are a lot of messages that you will see on console that we are actually not interested in. Okay, so we need to create this log4j property that will be referred by this MapReduce application. Okay, so now once this is done, uh, there is one more thing that you need to know, and that is when you go to this Hadoop on Windows, this particular uh, Hadoop installation, that directory basically. So in this bin directory, you should have one file called winutils.exe. That's so whatever Hadoop version or Hadoop zip I did distributed,